Welcome to the Know You series, part one. A little bit of explanation about what this system that I'm going to be presenting to you is all about and how to work with it. First and foremost, this system is not mine. It was developed by Hannah Moog and Carol Anthony, Hannah Moog. And within all their books on the I Ching, their interpretation of the I Ching and the healing methods that they discovered by working directly with the sage or awareness. So this is their system, not mine. I'm just sharing it with you because it has really, really helped me uncover a lot of stuff that I couldn't believe was actually there, but I knew it was there, but didn't have framework for it or a system of uncovering it. Anyway, the system that I'm going to be sharing with you is a method of working directly with and communicating with your higher self, also known as the sage, your soul, in getting yes/no responses to determine whether or not you have a particular false belief, ego construct, or anything else that you discover along the way. So you'll be learning a divination method using 3 coins, 3 pennies. It's a divination method of throwing the coins to get yes/no responses and other responses directly from your higher self to help you uncover what false beliefs and programs are holding you back from healing. If you have an illness or pains or anything health related, this is the perfect system for you to work with, as well as any other blocks in life. But usually we don't tend to do anything until an illness or a pain has occurred. So this is the perfect method to use the topic of an illness or a pain to then deconstruct what's underneath it. Anyway, so before I go off on a tangent, so you'll be using a divination method of 3 coins to communicate directly with your higher self. And then you will be directly communicating with your invisible helpers. I call them the helpers. The I Ching recommends that we call the invisible world our helpers. Just plain word helpers, because when we put a name on them, such as angels, elementals, devatas, Nephilim, all those words that are used in all different traditions and mythologies, we tend to, by naming something, we limit their ability. So by calling them helpers, our invisible helpers, we give them kind of lots of room to do what they do best. So you'll be working and communicating directly with your helpers. Once the false beliefs are identified, then we utilize the universal law of saying the inner no or the inner yes. And this is a universal law. I've already done a video on this a long time ago, but it's by utilizing your inner no, an authentic inner no, to communicate to your invisible helpers that this phrase, this ego construct, false belief, is, you no longer wish to attach to it, that you wish to break it. And using that authentic inner no gives your helpers the ability, now you've set them free, to begin the process of transformation. Okay? So we use the inner yes and the inner no to communicate with the helpers. And I have to tell you, it has been, I have no doubt at all But the helper, the invisible world, is here, right here, ready to help. They're listening, waiting for you to talk to them, for you to unprison them? No, wait. To remove their chains, to free them up, to help you. What has been happening over the last month or so, I've been broken free. Communication with the helpers and the things that have been occurring are miraculous. I can feel them listening, and I just let them do their work, and it happens. I don't do anything. I just say the no or the yes, ask for help, and get out of the way, and it is amazing. Okay? So this really does work. And it doesn't matter if you even doubt that the invisible world is conscious and alive and ready to help. It doesn't matter. They simply ask that you suspend your disbelief for a certain time and let them help you. So this is a wonderful system. So you'll get the phrases. You'll be interacting with your higher self through throwing the coins, getting yes, no responses. And then you'll take those responses, you'll be writing them down. And I'll talk more about this as we go along. But then there's usually, you're asked to then take those phrases in order to deconstruct them. It usually takes at least 3 consecutive days of spending 2 or 3 minutes and telling your helpers you are saying the inner no, and to please take action to remove these from your psyche. And so it's usually 3 days, but it could be longer that you need to keep saying the inner no. And as long as you don't reinstall that false belief or have doubt, or say something that imprisons the helpers once again, you will begin to see transformations and healings in your life. As long as you don't look for results within the first day, the first 3 days, because what happens is your invisible helpers, they get working on it right away. They're working on it at a sub-quantum level, right? Consciousness first. And it takes time for things to show up in the physical world, sometimes 2 weeks. But usually we're so impatient. If we don't see it the next day, we've already given up. So really, this is going to challenge your patience and your trust in the invisible world. And you'll begin to see how quickly distrust or impatience, you give up. So it's a really good system for developing trust in yourself and in our invisible helpers. You'll also learn methods that are different ways. In addition to using the inner no, we utilize the elements to remove those things from our psyche. For example, if there's a spell, I'm not good enough, we can say the inner no, but we also visualize water washing it out of our psyche. Or sometimes it requires fire or the air element. We use a vacuum if it's a small spell that hasn't been there long, sometimes a vacuum. And I know this sounds kind of silly, and you think, oh, it's probably not necessary. It really does help. Visualizing the water washing it off or fire burning, it all works. Okay, so that's kind of an explanation of how the system works, what I'll be talking about. I hope that made sense. And the next video, I will show you how to use the coins. Okay, till next time.